Hello everyone and welcome to week 3. It is week 3 of the Through the Woods Quilt-Along. This week is all about Little Red herself. But we're going to talk about more than just this quilt pattern behind me. We're going to talk about all the Sew a Story Little Red fun you can have. So come on in and join me today. Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Jennifer Long from Sew a Story. I am an early childhood educator turned Riley Blake fabric designer, and this week is week 3 of the Through the Woods Quilt-Along. Now the Through the Woods Quilt-Along, if you don't already know, if you're new here, it is my first book with Riley Blake Designs. It is actually a Sew a Story book. And each week this is our first sewing week. We did a little bit of preparation. We did some cutting. This is our first week that we're going to actually sew the story. So we're going to talk about the poem and how to interact, with the children in your life and engage them. But we're also going to talk about all the extra fun that you can have with this story and your imagination. So let's get started. A couple of things you're going to need first to get started today is you're going to need the book. If you don't already have the book, you can Google Through the Woods by Jennifer Long. And you'll see lots of fantastic shops that are carrying the book. I'll put a link down below so that you can also see on our website. We have a limited number of books on our website that I assigned. So if you want to grab one of those and you can't find one in your local quilt shop, you're welcome to, but support your local quilt shop first, please. If you are a shop and you have the kit or you have the books, please message below. Please comment below. Put your shop link. So good with that. Let's just lift each other up. So please do that as well. All right, so you'll need your book. You'll need your fabric. I am using To Grandmother's House fabric collection with Riley Blake Designs. So this fabric collection is my take. Look at the colors, you guys. Is my take on Little Red Riding Hood. But it's Little Red Riding Hood with a twist. They are all a family. The wolf is not a big bad wolf. He is a pet. He is part of the family, and family is forever. They go to Grandma's house for pies, and they just have a lot of fun going through the woods together. The book, we are working through this quilt together behind me, and they travel along the path. As they travel along the path, they follow the story of that's in the book, and we will sew the story together. So the first thing is first, we're going to talk about this block. So this is the Little Red Riding Hood block. There's a couple of techniques that I want to talk to you about, which I will lower the camera down and talk through with you. So make sure you stay tuned for that. But this is my half rectangle triangle technique that I really want to highlight, especially in this first block. And then I'm going to talk about like pinning and how to get perfect points everywhere so that you just are happy with your doll that you create and success. Now, I do want to note that there is a link in the book, but we'll put the link down below for a free download for all of the skin shade fabric. So if you can have your Little Red Riding Hood, any multicultural skin type, and I call out all the different colors of confetti cottons and Riley Blake Designs that are just wonderful for all the different colors of skin tones. So please, make this personal. You can also change her fabrics and colors to how best suits you. In the back of the book, if you want to make this pillow, there is instructions how to make this pillow. Otherwise, it's the same piecing for the quilt. Oh, she's hidden here behind Grandma. Here she is. I don't know if you can see her. Here she's peeking. She's at the bottom. The bottom, I guess if you're laying under the quilt, the bottom left-hand side of the quilt. A couple things I want to just talk to you about before we drop the camera down is it's so exciting to share this story and work through the story together. So I don't want to give away all the secrets here, but do take a moment to flip through the pages of the book. There are illustrations that I've drawn that are through the book. There's a pathway that runs through the book, and there is a little poem through the book too. So take your time, read the poem in the book and read it with the children in your life. If they're in the sewing room with you, they can be flipping through the pages and talking through about what they think might happen, how they might change the story, things like that as you are piecing and sewing together. A couple other, if you're a Little Red fan and you want a few other things, we just finished the felt panel sew along, and that is this pack and play here, and you can grab that also at your favorite shop. It's our online retailer. It's a felt panel, and it's through Riley Blake Designs. It's called To Grandmother's House, a felt panel, and I just wanted to highlight Little Red in there. She's in here in a few different ways. So she's in here in her pajamas, of course. She's in here without her little red hood on. Let's see if I can find her here. There. And then she's obviously there with her hood too. So you can really have like the whole story of the sleepover and, when she's at grandma's house and when she's traveling through the forest. She also has, her blanket for the sleepover. Everything is red and matching. So make sure these are evergreen. I talked through this sew along. So this sew along is evergreen. You can go to the site, grab all the links, follow our YouTube channel here at Sew a Story so that you can just make sure that you have all the details that you need for that. The instructions are also printed on the panel. I wanted to highlight something else. I hope you're still with me, and it's kind of secret, but as you know, I am a professional modern ragdoll designer. It is a huge passion of mine, and it's a huge part of who I am in my life, and also my mission to bring fabric and fabric crafts accessible to everyone, and also have lots of early education as part of it. So we know, I'll just tell you this quick story if I can. We know that when we make something handmade, we put a lot of our own love into it. But did you know that it actually, I really feel like it gets into the fibers of the fabric, and honestly, I truly do. First-hand experiences 20 years ago when I was raising my children, I started making handmade dolls without any patterns. It wasn't a thing back then, and I wanted them to have a soft, healthy body image doll, and made with love, and made in the colors, and have them choose fabrics and have them be part of it, what color hair, all the things. So they're part of that process as well. But what surprised me and amazed me and just really lit this fire inside of me was that my own children, started treating handmade dolls in a very different way. So I just want to show you something that's inspired by this collection. This is a Little Red Riding Hood doll. Here she is. This is all these patterns are on my site, but something special is coming with her, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So what I realized is that they treated these dolls differently. They could feel the love in the fibers, I am sure of it, but they didn't just toss them away and throw them under things and forget about them. They took special, different care of these handmade dolls. They were soft no matter what age. They carried them around with them. They hugged them, boy and girl. I have two of each, two boys and two girls. So, I am sold, and it's really what made me want to become a professional doll maker. I've made thousands, like literally thousands of dolls, and worked with manufacturing companies as well to really refine these skills. And I'm bringing them to you inside the Modern Ragdoll membership. So the doors only open. I'm not going to get all the details here, but if you want to learn how to make dolls, they are easy. If you have a machine that is an embroidery machine, your children can make these dolls, you guys. And I just want to show you all of the secrets within inside this membership. So you can grab these patterns, but if you really want to come along with me, I'll just give you a little quick glimpse of what it looks like as you're building it. It's just amazing. So I really hope that you come on over. We'll put the link down below. It's modernragdoll.com. You can get on the waiting list, and then when the doors open, you're welcome to come in and join us and have so much fun in there. Okay, I think we're at 4 things now. Fourth Little Red is this quilt pattern. So if you No, I just love picture quilts. And I love big picture quilts. So this is just a lap size. So, it's just coming up to my neck. It's a great size for a kid's playroom or a bed. But these are large half rectangle triangles, and I will walk you through how to do that today. So you can apply those same things here. But I love big picture quilts because they go together really fast. So you can make this quilt and then you can have this quilt just quickly done to be throwing on in the nursery or on the chair in the library, as part of the whole early literacy process. So that is my little red. Now come on over to the website and explore because we have tons of other patterns. If like the woven basket or fabric pies are coming, or like little handmade strawberries, all this amazing stuff for this collection. And if you haven't already are considering it, I do have a pattern club that shares these patterns um, throughout each release. And so you can just click on that in the website too. It's actually less than the cost of one pattern per month, and you get two patterns, always a quilt and some kind of a craft or doll pattern in that pattern club on the website. That club's always open. You can just come on in anytime you want. There's no obligation. You can stay and leave. The Modern Ragdoll membership is a little bit more in depth, so it's on its own. All right, shall we get started? Let's have some fun today, shall we? I'm going to drop you down.
Okay, here's tip and trick number 1. So when you are doing the stitch and flip over all of this pieced face unit that you've already made, if you want this fur fabric to be directional, so the fur just to line up straight, then you'll need to just test before you sew so that you flip it over. A good rule of thumb is the top of the fabric faces in at the top, and the bottom of the fabric faces in at the bottom. So let me just bring you in and show you. So this is the top of the fabric, and when you pull it over, you can see that it's right side out. And then same thing here at the bottom. This is the bottom of the fabric at the bottom flip. There and there. Good. So we'll trim this and get it ready to go. All right, so here's the cute little Red Riding Hood head. Normally I press all my seams open at the back to reduce bulk, except for these stitch and flip units here, because there is already so many seams happening here. I just press them open, so to the darker side. Yay! Let's keep going. Okay, I am going to share with you my tips and tricks for getting these perfect little points and working with such tiny pieces. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the first video, if you use a fabric stiffener of any kind, I love to use just a tiny bit of the spray and bond on the wrong side of my fabric, but you can use any kind of fabric stiffener and get your pieces nice and stiff before you sew them. And then once you sew them together, I like to use my little mini Alicio iron, and I press it so that everything just kind of steams up. I don't pull, I lift and lower my pressing iron, and then I just like to use my Riley Blake clapper, and I actually hold it down just for a few minutes on this wool mat. The heat absorbs inside that raw edge finish wood, and it also holds the seams nice and flat. So then you're going to get these perfect little pieces here. Ta-dum! And then again, we've sewn on that R piece in the stitch and flip method, and we are just going to slice it off. So we're sewing over top of seams that we have made, and it's just going to give us that little red shaped face. And then I just trim those away at 1/4 inch, and we'll press it open, and it will give the hood a very nice, cute shape. Okay, tip and trick number 2 is how to get perfect points to match on the intersections there. So let me just show you my pinning technique that just always gets me a point like this. So when we're taking the second piece and we are going to match it here, you can see that when you line it up, it looks like it doesn't match, and that's supposed to be because that's that 1/4 inch seam allowance. So you're going to come 1/4 inch over here and 1/4 inch over here. When you flip these two pieces together and lay it down. Then you're going to take 2 pins per tricky intersection, let's say. So I can see my seam is coming in over here. I match it at the 1/4 inch. I'm doing this in the air for you. And I put it in right inside that seam. Good, so 1/4 inch right inside that seam. And it will look like this. That's going to give me a guiding point. I'm going to keep it standing straight up like this. It's going to give me a guiding point when I'm sewing to aim exactly for this point. Now, just to hold it there so it doesn't shift, I take my 2nd pin and put it in right there, just to stabilize it and hold it. But I keep this pin standing up straight. That's my trick. And then when I sew on my sewing machine, my 1/4 inch seam allowance is coming right into that intersection. And when I flip it open, this is the result. Okay, let's gather the pieces that we need to make the 2 half rectangle triangles. So I have the red here, the red big bad wolf, and the bitty strawberries, the little bits of strawberries, and I'm putting them right sides together and the other rectangles right sides together. Then I'm going to take my ruler and draw one diagonal line from one corner of the rectangle on the wrong side and then on the opposite side here. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to take those 2 corners and rotate them to match the other corners. So it's going to look like this, and this one is going to look like this. I'm going to pin them in place, and then I'm going to sew along this line. I'm making one at a time. So you can't make one in both directions. So you'll have to just do one at a time for a rectangle, unlike an HST where you can do 2 at a time. You can do 2 at a time, but they'll end up with the same angle of HRT. So if you needed more than one going in the same direction, you could definitely do 2 at a time. But we're going to just sew along one line and trim away. Okay, so I've gone ahead and sewn along one side, and you can decide which way you want to flip them. So depending on the direction of your fabric, this is going to be the edge of Little Red's dress. So I want the wolf fabric to be pointing straight up. So I'm going to do it this way and this way. Perfect. So these are the ones that I want. Meaning that I'm going to trim now this inside and this inside. I'm going to leave this one so I remember how I want that one. I'm trimming this inside. Okay, so I'm just going to take my ruler at a 1/4 inch and cut off the side I do not want after I've tested. Okay, pull that away. You can save those scraps. There we go. And then this one, I'm going to keep these 2. I'm going to take this one away. Perfect. So it looks like this. I'm going to go and press this seam. I'm actually going to press this seam open, and I'll come right back and show you how we're going to trim these. Okay, so I've gone here ahead and pressed the seams open on the 2 half rectangle triangles, and then we're going to trim them. So this step, we're going to trim the sides of Little Red's cape to 3.5 by 7. So you can use your ruler, but I actually like to make a template out of just, this is like a thin sew-in stabilizer, and I like to make it out of this just because I can then see. So I place it on my mat, and I'll just take my pen and I'll mark the 1/4 inch on each corner so I can see through where my 1/4 inch is on each corner. And I'll show you why I do that in a second. All right, so taking the first one, this is the finished size we want, and I'm going to want this 1/4 inch seam point to be lined up right on that rectangle and right there, so that I know that seam allowance is going to be catching in my points, and I'll have perfect points for her cape. It might not be exactly look exactly even on your rectangle, but trust me, when it's in place, it will be perfect. So I'm going to line up my ruler then with the edge, and I will cut. Get that away. And then I'll do the same thing over here. Line up the edge. All right, and I'll show you how it'll look. So as you can see, depending on how narrow or wide it is, this might not come right to the corner, and that is okay because your 1/4 inch seam is going to be right on the angle. So same thing over here. So we'll go ahead and do that to both.
Well, I really hope you had fun making this block with me today. I hope you are inspired to sew a story. I appreciate you being here so much. This is such a passion to be able to bring early literacy into fabric, into our creativity, and then just see what comes from working together. And creativity begets creativity, right? So the more we work together, the more it will blossom. And I'm just so excited to share this book with you, and I'd love to hear your feedback. But please share your process. So if you are just sewing this whole block over the next 6 weeks, share your fabric pull, share your block. It really is actually super helpful, so I can keep providing content like this to you. But it's super like inspiring to me. It feels so good to see these projects that are so near and dear to my heart being enjoyed. So if you have pictures with your family, with your kids, I'm talking about these things that we're learning about, like pulling your family into the whole creative experience. Like, snap those pictures, share them on social media. If you don't have a social media account, you can definitely email them to us at info@sewastory.com. You can share them in our Facebook group. That's a great, safe, closed place to share them. But if you do share them on social media, do make sure you tag me at @sewastory_Jennifer Long, because I want to share them again and I want to see them. So thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a lovely week, and I'll see you again next week. Same time, same place. Bye for now, everyone. See you soon.